All right, welcome to the explainers. So let's talk about something pretty intense. What happens when your career path just vanishes? Today we're diving into a really raw, unfiltered journal from someone who's right in the middle of navigating a layoff. We're going to look at the financial pressure, that emotional whiplash, and, all those huge questions that pop up when you're suddenly forced to start all over again.
Wow. I mean, every layoff story has that one moment, right? That pivot point. And for the person who wrote this journal, this is it. Friday the 13th. You can just feel the weight of that, can't you? That little bit of superstitious dread. It's a detail that immediately tells you, okay, this isn't some dry case study. This is a real person's life, and it's about to get turned completely upside down.
Okay, so that brings us to our first section, Friday the 13th. We're talking about that initial shock and the sound of a clock that's suddenly ticking very, very loudly.
10. That's the first number that really matters here. 10 weeks of 100% pay from severance. Now, you might think, okay, 10 weeks, that's a decent cushion. But as we're about to see, it's not really a cushion. It's a countdown timer. And it starts the second you walk out that door.
So, what our author is staring down is what you could call the severance cliff. You've got those 10 weeks at full pay, sure, but right after that, bam, it drops, a steep drop to 60% pay for the next 6 months. And after that, just a big question mark. This timeline, it's not just a financial runway. It's basically a map of escalating anxiety. And get this, it's only day 18 of the layoff. But because a new month has just rolled over, it already feels like time is speeding up. The goal is crystal clear. Land a job inside that 10-week window, period. Anything outside of that feels like you're falling behind. You can see how the pressure is just immense right from the start. All right, let's move into our second section, the full-time job search. This is all about the cold, mechanical reality of trying to find work in today's world. And this quote right here, it really gets to the heart of the conflict. The author was thinking, okay, maybe there's a silver lining. I'll get 10 weeks to spend with my son. But the reality? That entire 9 to 5 block of time is now completely eaten up by a totally different kind of work, the job hunt. So as that pressure builds, you can see the whole job search strategies start to change. At first it was thoughtful and selective, picking just the right jobs to apply for. But then the rejections start piling up. And that thoughtful approach just gives way to something a little more, desperate. It becomes a numbers game, a sheer volume game. Apply to everything and figure it out later. Just hope something, anything, sticks.
And when we say volume, we mean volume. We're talking 10 to 20 applications sent out every hour. Just think about that pace. At that speed, there's absolutely no time to craft a perfect, personalized cover letter. It's just a rapid-fire, almost robotic process. It's not about finding the dream job anymore. It's about pure survival. But the return on all that effort, it's brutal. As the author points out, you can send out hundreds, maybe even thousands of applications, and you feel lucky, if you get maybe 5 responses back. All of a sudden, those 5 little emails become these golden opportunities that you absolutely positively cannot afford to mess up. So with odds like that, how do you even survive emotionally? The author's mantra becomes this: stay even keel. Cautiously optimistic. You can't let one little flicker of interest send your hopes soaring, and you can't let the silence totally crush you. You do your best, you send it out there, and then you enter the waiting game.
Okay, section 3. This is where things get really interesting. A different path? This is about questioning, everything.
So, in the middle of all this, 2 very different futures start to take shape. On one hand, you have the known path, what the author calls being stuck in this corp loophole. And on the other, something totally different, a radical departure, like owning a boba shop or a laundromat. It's this classic choice, right? The familiar corporate ladder versus a tangible, roll-up-your-sleeves small business dream. But here's the thing. Even that dream gets put under the microscope with some serious self-awareness. The author asks this really critical question. Am I doing this because I'm genuinely passionate about it? Or is this just an escape from the pain and rejection of the job search? That's a tough question to ask yourself. And that self-reflection, it actually leads to some new ideas. Ideas that feel less like an escape plan and more like a real purpose. Maybe the passion isn't about owning a boba shop after all. Maybe it's something way more personal, like sharing the knowledge they've gained, connecting with other working parents, or maybe even making videos for a YouTube channel to create something meaningful out of this whole tough experience.
Which brings us to section 4, the search for time. Because, as we'll see, it's a constant juggle.
So a normal day becomes this kind of zero-sum game. If you look at how the time is spent, the job search eats up the biggest piece of the pie. Then you have bonding with the baby, supporting a partner, and then there's that tiny, tiny little sliver left over. That's it. That's all the time there is for that creative work, the stuff that might actually build a whole new path forward.
And being a supportive partner through all this, it's not always easy. The author writes that sometimes talking about the day is fun, but other times all that stress just boils over, and that can lead to these exhausting arguments that leave them feeling completely drained mentally with absolutely no energy left for anything else. It's just real life.
But it's not all struggle and exhaustion. And that brings us to our final section, a glimmer of hope. It's about finding some clarity in all the chaos. And then the emotional coin just flips. Right after that feeling of being totally drained, a good day comes along. A day where the ideas are just flowing and there's this profound sense of gratitude, of being blessed, just for that little window of productivity. So what does that uninterrupted creative work actually look like in practice? Oh, it's not just free time. No. It's this perfect, almost cosmic alignment of circumstances. It's that rare, precious, golden hour when your son is napping and your partner happens to be out grocery shopping. It's that moment of pure, uninterrupted, focused solitude. If you're a parent, you know exactly what this feels like. And that really brings us to our final thought here. This whole journey we've just followed, the shock, the grind, the questioning, the desperate search for time, it all kind of boils down to this one huge universal question. This person's journal, it's not just their story. It's really a prompt for all of us. So let me leave you with this. When the path you're on just completely disappears, how do you find a new one? How do you even begin?